So I finally got it in a few weeks.
Yo, are you doing a review?
Yeah.
On the Pixel?
Yeah, just got it.
Dude, you know there's a million reviews online of that, and you reviewed an old phone last time.
So what am I supposed to do with this then?
Just do a summary or something. Plus, we just got this one.
So montage?
Montage.
Let the glove flow on, baby. Let the glove be free. I reach for you, honey. You reach for me. For you, honey. With for me.
With that Pixel XL overview out of the way, let's see how well the new LG G6 can keep up with Android's frontrunner. With an aspect ratio of 18:9, the LG G6 has a tall profile, however is one of the easiest phones to handle with one hand. On the back, there's a fingerprint reader that doubles as a power button and is accompanied by dual 13-megapixel sensors, one telephoto and one wide angle. With all those features on the back, the phone is essentially unencumbered along all edges, with the exception to the low-profile yet clicky volume buttons on the left side of the phone. However, I would have preferred that those buttons be on the right side, as I find myself having to shift my hand around to navigate to them. I feel like it would have been much more natural using my thumb to adjust the volume. On the top, you have a headphone jack, and on the bottom, you have a USB-C with downward firing speakers. While not stereo, this is one of the louder speakers I've seen with this configuration. It is a tad louder and has a little bit more flavor than the Pixel's tinny but detailed sound signature. But that's just me. So if you need another perspective, I've asked Carter to give me first impressions on build from an iPhone user's perspective.
These buttons protrude more. They're not as sleek or comfortable. I think it's just a matter of preference. But I definitely like the feel of this phone more. I can put my thumb around both of them, but this just like, it's like I can grab it and I don't feel like I'm ever gonna drop it. I think it just fits better, like, for my hand. And but the typing with this is awesome. I mean, feels better than the iPhone. I mean, I really liked, for me, I liked the way it felt when I was typing. And that buzz, I don't know, it just it helps me know what I'm doing.
So another thing that he mentioned, but I ran out of film, was that the Pixel did get a little bit brighter. So you'll see here on both low and high settings, the Pixel does outknit, I guess you would say, the LG G6. In terms of the operating system, this is not stock Android, which has inherent drawbacks. But the LG skin is pretty snappy, and there are a lot of features that you can make the experience much more palatable. When you first get this phone, you'll notice that there are a lot of apps on the front pages, which is a little bit annoying and unorganized for me. Luckily, there's a setting that can change the home screen format and bring this experience much closer to stock Android. So after you implement the app drawer, you can take out those unwanted apps and put them in there and free up your home screen for widgets and other fun things. However, once you get into that app drawer, you might notice that there are a lot more pages than you expected. And that's because that there is LG wear as well as carrier bloatware. Thankfully, LG has put in a feature that allows you to quickly hide the unwanted apps and just present you with what you need. So as you can see here, I'm easily able to hide 25% of my apps and make the navigation of that app drawer much simpler. So in terms of the things that I'm really missing from this skin is the swipe right for Google Feed. And I really like that feature in my 6P, but here they're overriding it with their smart bulletin, I believe it's called. And this basically just sets profiles based on your connectivity. So it'll set your sound profiles, your connectivity settings, as well as auto open of apps based on those connectivity settings. This isn't the worst override that I've seen in Android skin, but I still would have preferred to see the Google Feed in that area. Another feature that's worth mentioning is the always on display. And I found a lot more use out of this than I expected because I was easily able to peek into my phone without actually picking it up. And this is really useful for this phone to get the notification highlights in time because the power button is on the back. When you tap into it, you'll get more details on the notifications, as well as a nice little weather animation readout, which keeps you connected to the outside world. But in terms of the battery, I'd say it's not as beastly as the Pixel XL, but it still is able to consistently get 20 hours plus under normal usage. You can see on this timeline that I had to push it pretty hard in the last 3 hours just to get it down to 4%. So LG has implemented some nice features around battery optimization and app killing to really help you squeeze the most out of each percent of battery. Much appreciated. So now you know what you're dealing with the OS. Let's run down the camera and all of its features. So while the Pixel opted for the simple approach, the LG decided to do the complete opposite and give you a ton of shooting options that'll allow you to play around with the phone forever. So from panoramics to food modes to Instagram modes, you'll be in the settings for quite a long time just to play around with them all and see which ones you like. The HDR is there as well as a voice shutter. Some nice little features. And of course, just like in the Xperia, there's a manual mode, which is awesome because I was able to adjust the film around to get a little bit more ideal shot that I wouldn't get in auto. But again, I could go through these settings with you, but I don't think that you want to see these. I think you'd rather see some sample shots. All the shots that you'll see are using the auto mode. So in the first set in artificial light, you'll see they both take sharp photos. However, their G6 does have a little bit of whitewashing in the colors. Even in natural light, you'll see that the Pixel does reproduce colors a little bit better, or at least generate colors a little bit better. I would say that the LG G6 probably was a more accurate representation of what was there, but the Pixels just make beautiful photos with almost no maintenance. However, the LG G6 does give you that wide-angle lens, and it takes some pretty nice pictures, and I actually preferred this over the telephoto, so that's just a thought. As you see here, this is where things get weird, is that under subtle lighting, the LG G6 actually took better pictures to me. The contrast and colors were just beautiful, and I thought it outperformed the Pixel in this scenario. But at night is where the Pixel just destroys everything. That software is amazing on how much it can sharpen and bring out colors without any sort of optical image stabilization. It's just beautiful how easy the Pixel makes it for you to take pictures in any light. Both phones performed well on the video front. They had smooth shooting experiences and produced sharp videos. However, the LG G6 produced slightly better colors and had better autofocus performance. When switching between focus points, the G6 was faster to identify subjects, and the OIS kept everything stable and less shaky than the Pixel. So it's a win for the LG G6. So waterproofing is the last thing, and there's really no comparison here. The Pixel does not have waterproofing, so if I did this test with that phone, it would have drowned and I would have been down $850. But with the LG G6, it does not have this problem, and we did a lot of tests with this, and it was able to function underwater for a very long time. If you'd like to see more of that, check the vlog above because we did a little bit more testing to see if it was beer resistant. The Pixel was a really good phone. It was really solid. I understand why it's premium, like between how long that battery lasts and how awesome stock Android is. and all the software optimizations they did with that camera is just simply amazing. However, as you can see here, I have my G6 skinned and protected with a screen protector. And that's for a few different reasons, right? So I think it has similar specs to what the Pixel offers, with some new features like the smaller bezels and the dual camera, as well as waterproofing and expandable storage. However, it doesn't have stock Android, but the skin that they do have can be customized to be more like stock Android, and it doesn't really hamper the system all too much from my experience. It also stood up with connectivity, which was not the case with the Pixel. Those drop-offs on Bluetooth when I was working out or on planes was super annoying over time. Like at first I thought it was something that I could get over or it would be fixed, which apparently they did do a patch in their servers, but I updated my phone. It wasn't even supposed to need an update, and it still had the drop-off issue. And then I guess the last thing that really just sealed the deal for it is that I waited a while to get my Pixel. And it was a 32GB model because they didn't have the 128 in. Then there were still issues when I got it. And I paid $850 on that to buy that unlocked. It would have been closer to $1,000 if I bought the 128. This is $650. And there's a bunch of free offers with it, like on all carriers. Like the one that I got is T-Mobile. You get a free Google Home, and you get a free 2 years of 100GB added to your Google Drive. My final recommendations around this is, if you have a Pixel already, keep it. If you have an older phone, even like a 6P or something else that you're still happy with, but you're considering upgrading, like you don't necessarily need to go for this one. I would just wait until the next whatever fish called phone is coming out. But if you're like me and your phone got destroyed and you're trying to figure out what phone you want and you're an Android user, I mean, right now I feel like the LG G6 is a great value and a great phone to rock with. But guys, that's basically the final recommendations I have, and I gotta really pack up. I'm like super late for this last training, and I gotta get out of this tiny dorm that reminds me of school. Anyway, just leave comments. I love listening to you guys talk and get your input on what I can improve on, what you guys want to see on the videos, and just get that interaction. So feel free to start following me on my social. I update it quite often, and yeah, we'll see you in your next one. But I can't leave you guys here. I gotta pack you up. But appreciate ya.